Hey, ladies and gents, Romie Mojo here. Please like, comment, subscribe. Now, I wanted to just quickly say how the internet, I can't even say the internet, that's too broad. The internet's too broad. Social media versus Lizzo. Social media versus Lizzo is insane to me because social media has helped build up Lizzo's career like it helped build up Cardi's career, for example. And she's going through this phase of every minor thing that she does gets extremely ridiculed, and it brings out the people who probably will have never even said anything bad about her, even if they don't like her music. But it brings out the trolls. It brings out the worst. And it could even be from like fake spammer accounts. And that's the crazy part. I mean, here's the thing. Lizzo was inspired by R&B, soul music, funk, a bunch of different genres. So she made music that incorporated all of that. Now, based on the producers that she worked with, maybe the music more so became a little bit more pop or a little bit more easily digestible for today's consumer. But first off, there's nothing wrong with that because I think the music sounds great. But secondly, it's irky when I see people, and of course, usually black people, who are like, oh, well, she makes pop music. And yes, pop does mean popularized, and a lot of times because of how the industry was and still kind of is today, black artists weren't almost ever considered pop. Almost ever considered pop, even if it was the most popular, even if black artists were producing the most popular music and genres at the time. Now, so it is a dig when they call her a pop artist because it's their way of saying she's not black enough. And it reminds me of when Rihanna, when she was making that transition from the island and also R&B to more current, i.e. pop music, and what was in at the times. It still had flares of what she loved the most as far as different musical genres, but it wasn't fully just dominating the sound. And so that's essentially how a lot of Lizzo's music is, period. And so I'm not mad at if you're saying her music is more so pop than just like traditional. That's different. That is different. But what we're not going to do is just because she's black, she's a black woman that's getting a lot of support from pop radios and traditional white media or other media that's not black. And instead of most of her support or most of her obvious support just coming from people that look like her, we're not going to throw her away because that happened with Rihanna. You even tried to do that with Beyonce, and each time they prevailed. But as a fan, it pissed me off each time because I was like, how dare you? How dare you? Yes, those mediums do have a way of attempting to whitewash our artists, but there's a huge difference between their biggest songs being pop or popularized versus whole albums versus whole sounds. That did not change. Yes, the biggest singles that got the most money and support were considered the pop songs, or which isn't out of the norm. That almost applies to anyone. Most people, their biggest songs probably aren't songs that are absolutely true to their original sound or what they were most famous for. That's pretty normal. But, Lizzo with the Postmates situation. And yes, I can't defend that. And I'm not going to. That's a completely different story. So we're going to move on from that. So we're not defending that. And whatever happens with the lawsuit happens with the lawsuit. That's not my business. What I do know is that people trying to villainize her for average stuff because she's a celebrity. Okay, I get that. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I can get that. to the degree that it's happening, I'm looking like, who did she piss off? That's what normally goes in my mind. I said, no, this is just a nasty time. This is just a nasty time as far as online is concerned. Because some of these comments, like I said, they're not even from real people. That's the messed up part. It's like you cry, you get irritated. It's not even from real people. Another point that I have is that Lizzo winning the Soul Train Awards. That's the latest thing that pissed off people. Aside from her, putting her heart out through social media, and when she's upset, she puts it on there when she's, and obviously not all the time, but enough to where, and she's a passionate person, so it comes off a lot more and you feel it more, and it's different than maybe what some other artists when they do that. But let's not pretend like the industry is the issue. We constantly go at these individual artists who are in the industry trying to make a way for themselves. Even the bigger artists, they don't control the industry. They don't. And that's what my issue is. People are upset that Lizzo won. If you listen to her album, Because I Love You, it clearly was inspired by like funk and maybe a little bit of other elements of like jazz and soul and all that other stuff. And she did start off as a soul singer, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing that she has to do. She's another person where she's getting a lot of accolades because she combined her music and production, combines multiple genres and sounds in a popularized fashion that's able to gain a lot of traction and support in this time. And so because of that, that's why she's popping. And it's the older music. It's not even 2018, 2019 productions. It's stuff from 2015, 2016, 2017. And I get it. This happens to all of the stars. When you become popular, this is what you have to go through. You have to go through people just hating on you just because you're popular. Sometimes you start to annoy people because you're in their face so much. It happens to all of the artists, all of the stars. This is the biggest she's ever been. Some people don't like the fact that she gets categorized as rap in certain areas. Some people don't like the fact that she gets categorized as a singer in other areas. She can sing. She does rap. Is her raps in maybe the more traditional format of rapping that some people got accustomed to? No. Do people go as hard at other people who don't even really rap but get put in the rap song categories? Well, rap song, that's different. But in the rap categories, no. Lizzo's a woman, so she's already going to have to deal with certain judgments and criticisms for minor stuff that male counterparts, or maybe even some other female counterparts, wouldn't have to go through. Lizzo is a big girl. There's people who hate the fact that she loves herself and loves her body and isn't afraid to show it and isn't afraid to actually move in front of a camera, isn't afraid to actually do choreography, isn't afraid to be herself and be happy with that. There's people who hate that. There's people who hate the fact that it's the whole package, that she's black, that she's bigger, that she's a woman, and that she's successful. And there's so many people who are loving her, but they're loving her because she's preaching body positivity, overall women empowerment, giving them non-traditional sounding music. She's hitting all the markers for what a modern day pop star would be, or what the industry is now saying should be, even if it's not in the package that they're used to mass producing. And so she, like I said, she's an example of how the internet ended up helping build her up. And social media is powerful, extremely powerful. This was Lizzo's year. And just like how really last year was Cardi's year. And Cardi's been successful, keep going. But you know what I'm saying. And that's why I just wanted to come on here and say there is no way I was just going to that I'm going to ever fall for these fake shenanigans of, all right, this person's getting a little bit too big. Let's slap them down in size. Nope. Seen this before, heard this before, and it's not going to work. So let me know what you think. If you don't agree, if you don't like her, that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this whole mob mentality that has really gotten strong over the last couple of years for really minor stuff, and then kind of just not caring about the big stuff that should be bothering more people outwardly. Again, my name is Romie Mojo. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks.